Where'd we play?
Welcome to the Golf Loons podcast, one course at a time in Minnesota and Wisconsin.
Where'd we play?
Go on.
All right, gang. Welcome to the Golf Loons podcast, episode 2. But let's call it episode 1. We're going to call our intro episode 0. This is where we are going for real to talk about a golf course. I'm Glen. With me is Twig, my co-host. Twig, welcome back to the Golf Loons podcast. Excited to review our first course today.
Same here. I feel like this is the start of something special. So let's get after it.
Yeah, it was a great day. Today we played a round at the Meadows at Mystic Lake, which is in Prior Lake, Minnesota. Beautiful Prior Lake, Minnesota, on the reservation of the Shakopee Madoikadan Sioux tribe, which everybody knows. And we also welcomed our very first guest to the Golf Loons, Tony Zosel. He's the owner and operator of Youth Hockey Hub. Really fun guy to golf with. Fitting that we played on a course where you can see the local hockey rink from the third hole. A rink he's probably been in hundreds of times, and he spends half his life in a rink. So it was a good fit to have Tony join us today. Before we get into our review of the first round at Meadows at Mystic Lake, let's give a shout out to our sponsor.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. Our main sponsor, first sponsor, Yellowbird Coffee. They have 2 coffee bars, one in St. Paul and one in Northeast Minneapolis. Their owner, John Peterson, JP, is just an awesome guy, good friend of both of ours, but I've been friends with him since 7th grade. And he actually golfed with us at the Meadows today, which was neat too. He's not our guest. He will be at another episode, surprise, surprise, down the road. Well, he was there too, but stop into the Yellowbird Coffee community conversation.
That's right. So thank you to Yellowbird. It was fun. I think he'll be joining us for quite a few as the non-guest player, because he'll jump in to play anytime he can.
JP will play anytime.
Yeah. And he's the perfect guy to have out there because he's just a fun, easygoing guy to golf with. So I can't wait for everyone or our listeners to meet JP, but that'll be in a future episode. So let's dive in. Let's do this. Before we get into our segments, let's just talk about the general overview of the Meadows at Mystic Lake. If someone's driving into Meadows at Mystic Lake or Mystic Lake Casino, but they're playing there for the first time, what's the overall expectation for them?
Yeah, we had a great day. Number one, you're going to get it's a casino course, but you're getting really good, typically in good conditions, and we had great conditions. It was end of April. The greens were super smooth. The fairways we kept saying how good the course was for this time of year. So you're going to get great conditions there. It's a nice course as far as like it's got a nice variety of holes. It's if you bring it all the way back, it can be pretty difficult. But there's plenty of tees for everybody. I think it's great. The greens are fun and interesting. And it used to be the site of Lone Pine, which was kind of notorious for being like the first course to open back in the old days. Like they'd shovel snow off the greens and, open up the course if it warmed up enough. So it's built on that same site, and they moved a lot of earth to do it. So there's some nice undulation to things, but it's a great fun course.
Yeah. It's got some quirks to it, but it's highly regarded as one of the top public courses in the state, I would say.
Yes.
Generally. Not that matters to us. We're going to play courses that aren't always on the top 10 list of public golf courses in the state. We're going to get around, but Mystic, I think, was a good first location for us to go with. So that was one reason we chose it. Neither one of us gets there a ton, but it fit well with our guest today, Tony Zosel. Not that he had played it ever, but he's a Southwest Metro guy, and I just think it was a good course for us to start off for the very first course review that we do.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, I played it a couple times. JP the same a few times, and so it certainly wasn't like where I had every blade of grass memorized. So it was really fun to see it. Again, great shape.
Yeah. Okay. So our first segment, you all know Twig. Twig is our resident expert on how to play a course. So we will get into our first segment, which is Twig's Gimmies.
what to expect.
Little bite-sized chunks. Yep.
Yep.
So, perfect name for the first hole, Sage, because you are a sage man when it comes to golf wisdom. So Sage is the opening hole. What does a golfer expect to do here?
I think it's a gentle handshake. I mean, I like courses where the first hole isn't going to kick your teeth in. So gentle handshake, just a pretty basic par 4. Find the fairway between the two fairway bunkers. If you can avoid those and or even hit it past, you're going to have a short iron into the green. There's a bunker short right, so kind of the miss, I think, is kind of left or maybe a little bit deep.
Okay. On to number 2, which is Maple. I refer to it as the parking lot hole on the course. Maybe the only hole I don't like too much because you're just hitting towards a parking lot of the casino. But Maple is number 2, par 3.
Yeah, it's a mid-length par 3, bunker short right. Again, miss. I would aim left side of the green, left center. There's a ridge that runs through the green, so pay attention where the pin is, but there's kind of a tricky ridge. So if you can kind of get in the right section of that, and the carts have great GPS and they actually have a really good detailed heat map of the green. So if you can, if you want to get fussy, get on the right side of the ridge.
Yeah, we'll touch more on the carts later, but okay, on to number 3, the first par 5, Hinhansadan, which of course means little red owl. It's a longish par 5 with an island green.
This is a fun hole. I think all the par 5s at Meadows are fun. If you want to take on the bunkers on the left, it's not too bad of a carry. So I know your carry distance, but if you can go directly over those, you can catch a nice speed spot. And think about going for the green in 2. It's surrounded by water. It's literally almost an island green. So if you're not sure you can get there, definitely lay up to your yardage. I think it's a second shot hole. So you're either going to be going for it in 2 or you're setting yourself up for your third shot.
Yeah. The island scares me to go for it in 2. I had
you hit a bomb.
You hit a green. But I was not going for it.
Okay.
I was not going for it. So I laid up and still almost went in the water. So, all right, on to number 4, Willow.
Par 4, uphill and short. There's a ton of ways to play this. So if you're a big air, I have a son, Charlie, who can bomb it. He would love it because he would bomb a driver, or he would hit like an easy 3-wood up there, and you can go for the green. There's some trouble around the green, too, or you can lay up and play it as a 2-shotter that way too. I think if you do miss the green, there's a nice kind of chipping area, kind of a nice grassy hump to the left. Misses to the left, and it's not too bad of an up and down.
All right. Number 6 is the bear. For me, it's the cocaine bear.
Oh, number 5.
Or I'm sorry, did I skip number 5?
Yeah.
And number 5 is Creek, which appropriately named. It's got a creek that runs right across the middle of the fairway.
Yeah,
near the green.
It's a good mid-length par 4. The second shot's over water, so if you can keep it to the right center of the fairway, you're going to have a shot where you can see the green. Again, anything to the left's going to go into the creek, and you'll probably have a mid to long iron in. So again, know your carry distance, and if you have to miss a little bit long, that's okay. It's not too bad of an up and down, but it's a challenging hole.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So number 6 is the bear. And I flirted with the bear with my approach shot. I tried to take him out. There's a statue of a bear right in the water. My approach shot went right towards him, hit a rock, and shot out into the tree, so I was safe. But yeah, I mean, the bear got me on this hole.
You found it though.
I did find it, yeah. So I stayed out of the bear. Saved me, maybe more than hurt me.
Another really good par 5. If you want to take a chance off the tee and see how far up you can get it, it does tighten up the farther you get up the fairway. And if you can do that going for it in 2, it's a pretty challenging shot. You've got a creek that runs all up along the right, so kind of the bailout area is to the left. Whether you're bailing out in your second shot or even the third, misses left of the green, but it's a well protected green. It's a fun hole.
Yep. All right. So now we're on to 7. That's Eagle. And one thing, every hole that's named after an animal has a statue on that hole of that animal. So there's a pretty cool statue of the eagle. This is a par 3, a pretty par 3 with like a bald eagle.
Yeah, we don't have eagles on it. So
No.
par 3, where it's downhill, take about 10 yards off on your tee shot. And it's not a super deep green, so again, know your distance, but take about 10 yards off on the tee shot. A fun hole over some water.
All right. Number 8 is Oak, par 4, another short par 4 uphill.
Yeah, this one we actually, it looks very similar to number 4. It's another shorter-ish par 4. Favor the right side. It's a little harder to drive than number 4, but it's still kind of a medium to short length par 4. Favor the right side for a better angle on your shot in, and it's a slightly uphill shot. Add 5 to 10 yards on your approach.
All right. And then we round out the front 9 with a par 4 known as Buffalo. Some may refer to that as Tatanka. Pretty relatively easy closing hole on the front 9.
It's kind of a nondescript par 4. There's a ridge kind of in the middle of fairways. If you're able to get over it, you can see the green better on your second shot. So if you can, get it up as far as you can, just so your second shot isn't obscured or blind. And not a ton of trouble around the green. There is a bunker to navigate, but if you can, again, get it up to that ridge a little beyond, you'll be rewarded with a pretty good second shot.
Yeah. All right. And then get your food and drink at the turn. There's a nice little shack there where you can grab what you want, and then hit number 10, a long par 5 known as Meadow.
Let it fly off the tee. Another one that's going to be reachable for a mid-length to long hitter. If you're playing the right tees, a lot of these par 5s, I think you can get after in 2, which is fun. So let it fly off the tee. And if you're going to let it rip and try to get up there in your second shot, favor the left side of the green. You can run it up that way. Or again, if you miss, you're going to have a little better angle on your third shot. If you miss short right, which I did, then you're playing it over a bunker on your third shot. And if the pin's tucked, it just makes it a little bit trickier that way. But green slopes a little bit right to left subtly too. So kind of, again, pay attention to where that pin is and where you're leaving your approach.
All right. Number 11, par 4, Ash is the name.
Yeah. Tee shot over water, but it's a little deceptive. It's not as long of a carry as you think. But the idea, I think, as you're looking at the tee shot, you're naturally going to want to move away from the water, and the fairway's pretty thin there. It does open up if you do hit it far enough past the water, and then it's a slightly uphill approach. Add 5 yards onto your approach.
Okay. Number 12, Fear the Deer, a long but straight par 4.
This is one of the harder par 4s. It's meaty. There's some meaty ones on the back. If you can hit it, the tee shot sets you up. And the farther up you hit it, you can catch a little bit of a speed slot, and it can kind of catch a downslope. You can get some extra yardage on it. The back third or a quarter of the green runs away from you. So if the back pin is in play, look out, be careful. It's really easy to hit it over. So kind of pay attention to that green map and pay attention to where that pin is.
Okay. 13 is Plum.
Mid-length, par 4. First, as long as you just kind of get it in play, you're going to have a medium to short shot in. But I think if you really want to get aggressive, flirt with that bunker on the right. And the more you can flirt with that and kind of that line of charm, I think is kind of up kind of towards that right bunker, a little left, that you're going to be rewarded with an even easier wedge shot into this.
All right. Number 14, back to a par 3, Aspen.
Yeah, long par 3 over water. We played about 5 yards downhill off the tee, so take a little bit off it, but I think it looks like it's more downhill than it really is kind of my experience there. And favor the left side of the green. There's a little bit of a nice slope there that you can play it off of, and to kind of keep your ball in the green. And even if you do miss it in the rough left, it's not as bad of a up and down as if you miss it to the right.
And then we go to the number 1 handicap hole in the course, Sumac.
15, the number 1 handy, and for good reason. You need to hit a really, really good tee ball on this one. And you're going to have a long to mid iron in. I think the miss on this is short. If you miss it left, it's a really hard up and down. If it's a pin that's in the front or middle, you don't have much green to work with, and it's kind of running away from you. So ideally, obviously, you're going to hit the green, but if you have to miss a little bit short, it's not the world's worst up and down.
Yeah. Okay. Number 16, appropriately named Cattail, because there's water everywhere you look on this hole, as I found out.
Yeah, there's a fairway bunker kind of on the right side that defines the tee shot. A lot of room left of it. Just if you can get it and play off to the left, you're gonna have a mid to short iron in. And then again, it's a subtly tricky green. We played with the pin was on the back, and there's a really little shelf on the back that kind of tempting you to go at it, and it'd be really easy to go over. So just pay attention to where the pin is. I play it level on the shot in, but it's a fun hole. If you get that tee ball in play, it's a fun approach shot.
Okay. And 17 is Fox, which is a sneaky tough par 3.
Yeah, big green. The front 2/3 of it, I think, are easier pins. There's water left, so obviously you're kind of worried about that. And there's a tree to the right. The front 2/3 of the green are some easier pins. If they do throw it in the back, there are some really challenging pins back there. Obviously, if it's in the back, don't go deep. You're better off hitting to the middle and playing for your 2-putt par.
All right, and then the finishing hole, par 5, number 18.
T-ball, aim at the shiny tower. So you've got the Mystic Casino, the main building to the left. I don't even know what it's some part of the casino, whatever the mirror building is on the left. Hit it at that and play it off that, and that's a really good line. Your second shot, this is a little harder green to go for it in 2. I think it plays longer. If you can go for it in 2, awesome. If not, play it up the left side again. You're going to play it at that tower again. And the farther you go on the left, the more room you have. But again, the farther up you push it, it brings in a green side bunker into play that, depending on where the pin is, like JP played it way up on the left. He had a great second shot. Then the pin was tucked just right over that bunker, and he ended up having a really hard shot and ended up going into the bunker, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So kind of pay attention if that pin's middle or back. I think hammering up the left. If it's by the bunker, then play it out on the right side of the fairway for your layup.
All right, that's Twig's gimmies. That should take 5 to 7 strokes off your round.
At least.
Well, yeah, and this podcast is free, so they got their money's worth.
That's right.
Of what they asked for. So, all right, so great job, Twig. Thanks for helping with that. Let's jump into our next segment, the range. Let's get into a range of topics on this hole. We're always going to start off with our favorite hole. So, what was your favorite hole on this course?
My favorite hole is number 6, the uphill par 5. I think it's a really good. You did 2 really good shots to hit that green in 2, but if you do, you can hit it in 2. So I think that's a hole you can eagle, and I think it's a hole you can make in 10.
Yeah,
too. If you get sideways off to the right off the tee. How about you?
Yeah, that's the one with the bear sitting in the waterfall.
That's right.
Just kind of a cool little visual. My favorite hole, I'm going to go number 3, another par 5. I like the island green. I think that was cool. I liked having to make that decision of like realizing I hit a good drive. I really could go for this green. Like I wouldn't have to take too much club to get there, but it's the 3rd hole. So you're still in that mindset of like, well, let's play smart today. let's do it. So I laid up and like took forever to find my ball. It was like 4 inches from going into the water. So maybe the hole doesn't play as long as you think, but I just like that hole. I like there's a little rock bridge off the green that you can walk from the green to the next tee. I like that. So I'm going to go with number 3 as my favorite hole.
Nice.
Okay. So signature hole, this is a little bit different. It's not necessarily our favorite, but it's the hole where, all right, this is where we got to get our picture taken, or this is where, generally people would say this is the signature hole, the most famous hole for this course. I'm going to say, and we don't always have to agree on this, but I would think it's number 18, the finishing hole with the casino in the backdrop. And one of the other times we played this, you and I, we played it in the fall when it got dark pretty early. So we were finishing after sundown. It was fairly dark, and that thing was lit up, like it's shining onto the 18th green. So it was a pretty cool visual, I think. Might not be for a purist, but I think it was pretty, Moose is a pretty cool finishing hole with some cool views.
I'm going to agree and disagree. I agree. It's a spot for a good photo. It's fun to have the casino in the background and your photo with your buddies. I didn't feel like there was like a true standout signature hole. I put number 6, I think, because you got the statue there. You got the creek that runs through the fairway and up the hill. I think that hole brings a lot of fun. And it's whether you're a 25 handicap or a +5 handicap, I think there's a lot of fun in that hole. And I love the green and how it sets in the hillside and the statue. Okay, I'm going 6.
All right. We don't always have to agree, and that's
no,
that's fine. Okay, so let's go. What was the hardest hole? The hole that if you make a bogey there, you're feeling just fine about yourself.
I think 12 is the hardest hole. We lucked out the day we played it. It's downwind. I think every other time I played it, it's been into the wind or no wind. And I think that 12, it's a demanding tee shot, but it's also a really demanding approach. too, and the green's hard as well. So for me, it's 12.
Okay. I'm going to go with 16. I don't know that. Obviously, there's going to be some bias because I struggled on that hole, including trying to hit one out of the water. My ball was just in the water, but sitting up. So I thought I was going to attempt a miracle shot. I don't think we got video of that.
No, I was hoping you would go like, was it Woody Austin that hit the one shot and he fell into the
Yeah, well, I didn't fall in, but I got extremely wet. It was one of the dumber things I did. Got dirt, mud all over my hat and everything. And my ball went about 3 yards further into the water. So it was an ill-advised attempt.
That was fun.
But you have to do stuff like that, right? We're just having fun. So but even before that, I don't know, I hit a decent drive, but I found myself on an uphill and thick rough, and so I was made for a hard second shot, and then I was just flummoxed the rest of the way. So I'm gonna say 16 was the hardest hole, and I think the other times I've played it, I've always struggled on that hole. So 16 I'm taking that one away as my hardest.
Okay.
If I had made a bogey there, I would have been happy. I didn't. I didn't even make double bogey. So
next time.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So after we talked about the hardest hole, a hole where you can hunt for birdies. I actually birdied number 6, one of your favorites, my first birdie of the year. I was pretty happy about that. But I actually think 4. The short par 4 is a better birdie hole. I didn't come close to birdieing it, but I feel like those short par 4s, that's where you got to go for it. And even if you it's one of the rare holes, I think, where if you go for it, there's not a ton of risk involved. So you should be able to, even if you don't hit it perfect, you're going to be up close and have a chance at birdie.
Yeah. I have 2. I have number 10 and number 8. I'm back and forth between those. I'm going to go at 10. I think if you hit a reasonably good drive, you're going to have a chance to go for it in 2 and or lay up, and then you've got a short wedge in, I think, and there's not as much trouble as the other par 5. So I'm going number 10.
Okay. All right. And then your favorite par 3 on the course.
I had 17. I think 17's a terrific hole. I was hoping we see the pin back right, but I think no matter the pin was kind of front middle-ish, and I hit it past the pin, and there it was a sneaky quick putt down the hill too. And GP, I think, had a chip from the right side of the green. That was so. I think the green is sneaky tough, but I think it's pretty hole, and also it takes a really good tee shot to get it close. And I'm going 17.
Okay, I'm gonna go 7 eagle. It looks like it's a downhill. I'm a sucker for the downhill tee shots where you kind of can overlook the green, see everything below you, and it looks fairly easy. It's fairly long par 3, but it looks easy, but it isn't. And none of us, I don't even think any of us hit the green. We were all either over or JP ended up in the water on the left. And he found a nice ball in there. So he was happy about that. But I think number 7 is my favorite par 3.
Yeah.
How about your favorite par 5?
Number 6.
Okay.
I like the whole collection of these par 5s. I like 6 because I think it's sneaky tight off the tee, and then I think that second shot's a lot of fun because you can blow it right into the bear, into all the junk. You could knock it on the green close. JP kind of bailed out left, but there's more room there than you think, and you have kind of a fun up and down opportunity from there too. But I love how that green sets into that hill, and I'm going with 6.
All right, I'll go back to number 3, my favorite hole.
Yeah,
I just there's something about island greens that are fun and are visually stimulating.
Yeah,
like 17 at TPC Sawgrass. It's just there's something cool about an island green. It's not to that extent, but it's still pretty fun. So I'll go with that one. And then your favorite par 4.
Favorite par 4. Gosh, I really like 15. I think it's the number 1 handicap for a reason, and I think it's a fun approach. It's even though it's hard. Like I think Tony hit the green, he had lumber in, he was hitting like a 3-wood. I had a hybrid in, and it plays usually pretty firm in front. So I feel like even if you're not long enough to fly it, I'm kind of a bunt, I hit a little baby fade bunt.
Yeah.
And so I like it when I can run balls up on a hard hole or a longer hole. And so I feel like even if you can't fly it there, you have to hit a really good shot that you can get rewarded by running around too. So
Yeah.
I like 15.
Okay. I'm gonna go with 8. And again, there's personal bias. The hardest hole for me was the hole I struggled with. 8, I got a birdie on.
Yep.
My first of the year. But I also just like the hole, an uphill, but not too daunting. It was just I like the layout. I like you do have a decent view up on the green of everything surrounding beautiful Prior Lake. So I'll say number 8.
Okay.
And again, had I doubled it, it'd probably be different.
Yeah. You're an emotional guy.
Yeah, absolutely. So aside from the holes, Twig, the general vibe of Meadows at Mystic Lake, how did you feel for the 4 hours that you were out there?
It was good. Well, a couple of things. It was really good pace. I don't like playing 5-hour rounds. It drives me nuts. So every time I've played there, it's been a pretty good pace of play, and this was no different.
We never waited on a single hole.
It was great.
On a Sunday at noon, tea time, right?
Yeah, and it was packed, and so I thought the pace of play was good. We saw that, unfortunately for there was a gal that was running the drink cart, and I think we saw her 3 or 4 times each time.
4 times.
Yeah, and it was unbelievable. And of course, it wasn't. It was kind of cool. So I don't think business was great for it, but I thought that was great. I thought they were nice in the pro shop, out at the turn stand. They were really friendly there. The starter was everything.
Everybody's staff was good.
Yeah, everything about the day was easy, and laid back too.
Yeah, for sure. There wasn't one interaction I had with a staff member that was bad. I thought we were going to get yelled at on the 3rd hole.
Yeah,
the ranger drove up to us and he flagged us down.
He came in hot.
Yeah, I was thinking we were going way too slow, even though our screen said we were ahead of pace. But he was just there to tell us to ignore the cart path only alert on the cart for the 5th hole, and off we went, and we never saw him again. So that was great. We talked about the carts. They had great GPS. They were the Rolls Royce of golf carts. Comfy, spacious.
Yeah.
They were top of the line. So Mystic Lake did not skimp on their golf carts either.
No, if you're in the golf carts, they've got the Cadillacs there.
Yeah,
that was nice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I thought the round cost us $108 for 18. I think that's still the spring rate.
Yeah.
Right. So Meadows at Mystic Lake's going to be on the pricier side. But I don't know. What do you think for the value? Would you say that's worth it?
For $100, I thought it was a great value. Yeah. It was good. It's getting up there for a public course, and that price does go up. I don't know exactly what the rates are a little later in the summer. I do know that it goes up during prime time, but especially for the early season round, I thought it was a pretty good bargain or a pretty good deal.
Yeah. And I thought the conditions. Any golf course in Minnesota gets a pass on conditions when you're still in April. I would even say into May. You never know how a golf course is going to come out of the winter. But overall, I felt like Meadows at Mystic Lake, other than a few patches of dried up grass or dead grass, I thought it was in really good shape. And the greens especially were rolling very nicely.
Oh, it's phenomenal for late April. It was I felt like it was almost like late May conditions. So it'd be really fun to go back there even in 2 or 3 weeks now that we've got some sun and a little rain. That's going to be in phenomenal shape all year.
So an important question, we'll ask this about every course, whether it's in the metro or non-metro, buddy golf trip potential. Could buddies go here for a golf trip?
Yes, for sure. I don't know if they have what their stay and play stuff is.
Right.
I'm when I can't sleep, I'll look into stay and play stuff all over the Midwest and stuff. So I'm not sure what that would be. I'm sure they would work with you and get you a good deal there. But what the nice thing is, it's a fun course. I think you could play it 2 or 3 times in a day, and you'd have a blast.
Yep.
You're gonna have good lodging and plenty of food right there. And if you wanted another course to play, right across the street is the Wilds, which is another course that we will play at some point for this pod.
Yep.
That's a terrific course.
Yep.
It's one I think I might even like a little better than Meadows, but it's another really good track. So if you want to like have a little variety, you have that there. There's other courses nearby, but you could just stay right there and you could play those 2 courses for a few days.
Yeah, I think it'd be, especially for guys that don't live in the metro, or gals that want to travel down to the Twin Cities or stay in the Twin Cities. Um, it's tough to beat. As far as casino golf courses, I can't name a ton off the top of my head. I know Treasure Island and Black Bear have courses.
Wilderness, Fortune Bay,
Yeah,
Dakota Ridge.
Good point.
Couple
Dakota
more.
Ridge is another
Yeah.
great one. But as far as the Twin Cities, there's not many like that, and I thought it was a great course. So if you're into gambling and playing golf, which a lot of people we know are, that would be a good place. And like you said, it's a fun course. If you're playing match play with your buddies, there's going to be some interesting holes where things are going to be won or lost, depending on how you play some of these holes. So I like that piece of it.
Yeah. Be a great course to spin around for a whole weekend.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Anything that surprised you on this course?
The greens. I was surprised at how good the condition of the greens was at this time of the year. And I think the pace of play would be kind of, whether it be 1A or 1B. I love that you can play, and we played about 4, a little bit less than 4, and it was kind of a leisurely, it felt just right. So those are, for me, the top 2. How about you?
All right. Surprises, I would agree that the pace of play, I thought it would be packed out there, considering everyone's just raring to get out in late April to play. But I was surprised at that. Other than that, nothing really surprised me. We played this course before, but I really enjoyed it. I think it's worth the money that you spend to play at it. So I would give it high marks. So and it was a fun group we had. You, JP, and then our guest, Tony Zosel. Let's go to him next for our emergency 9. We're going to kick you out of that chair. I'm going to talk to Tony because I know him pretty well. And we're going to get his take on the course, golf, hockey, and everything else that's made him a success as he's built this youth hockey hub empire.
Yeah, great round. Fun to talk about it with you. And it'll be fun to hear from Tony.
All right. Welcome to our very first Emergency 9, where we ask 9 questions from our guests that played with us earlier today. Today we play at Meadows at Mystic Lake with our friend Tony Zosel, owner, operator of Youth Hockey Hub, the go-to website and tournament destination for every youth high school hockey player in the state. If you're involved in hockey, you know who Tony is. First off, Tony, thanks for playing with us today. It was awesome.
Well, thanks for the round. It was good. I'd never played that course before, so that alone was kind of worth it for me, just to kind of find my way around that course.
Yeah, what'd you think? Meadows at Mystic Lake.
I thought it was why I like it. Usually my drives were actually decent today, but are usually kind of sprayed a little bit, so I don't like the tight courses. And felt like that golf course, it got tighter and tighter and harder as you got to the green. That was kind of a staple of that golf course. Yeah. The greens were very well protected by bunkers and water. Basically almost 12 out of 14 holes, 12 or 14 holes felt like they were protected later on in the hole.
Yeah, they put ways to get you. So
yeah.
Well, so Emergency 9, you're going to be the answer to a trivia question someday. Who is the first ever guest?
I know.
To do an
Emergency 9
it's an honor. On the Golf Loons podcast. It's going to be Tony Zosel.
I love it.
So Tony, Emergency 9, we want to get to know you a little bit, get to know about golf, you and golf, and what you do, and just kind of, we want to learn about you. Okay?
All right. Cool.
So first off, you own and operate Youth Hockey Hub. Turn this little thing into a major success here in the state. Just give us how did you start this and what made you do it?
Well, that's a great question. So first of all, it kind of became an idea. I went to a buddy of mine had a kid who played for Edina's PUEA team, like the 2009, 2010 ish, and my son was like a first year squirt. So I watched, and what I couldn't believe was my son will be that good in 2 years. I mean, I grant they were probably a little bit better, but he was equivalent to that in 2 years. And I just couldn't believe how good they were 2 years older. So then I went back and I like, well, how good was this Edina and Wayzata team? Were they ranked or, because my buddy was pretty humble. He didn't want to say they were the best two teams. Turns out they were like both top 5 teams. And I remember going onto the website. My company I owned at the time built websites. That was one of the things we did for our clients, advertising, marketing, communications. And by that time, we had probably built like 200 websites. I don't even know. I can't even keep track how many we built, but enough, right? And I got to Let's Play Hockey's website, and it was a string of Adobe Acrobat PDF icons with the dates on it. It was basically their newspaper was the web experience. And I was like, there's got to be something better than this. There was no drop downs. There was no rankings. There was no articles.
Keep in mind, this is what
No, this was 2009 or 2010. Like
a lot of people did. Yeah.
there was websites. I mean, there was. It was not 1997.
Okay.
This was like 2009 or 10. It was like this was. I just remember going, this is a terrible website. There's got to be a better experience. So that was the first thought. And then my brother, Scott, and we were coaching baseball at the time, and there was nothing there either. I'm like, we should build a baseball website. So you remember at my old office, I sketched out a website for baseball. We got about halfway through the sketch, and I went, no, we got to stop. He goes, why? He goes, baseball's great, but it's only played 2 months here. Hockey's played 11. Probably 12, but we played all the time. Yeah. I was organizing clinics for my kid, and we were just I was doing a lot more. And I felt like there was way more appetite for hockey. So I went back to Let's Play Hockey that same day, and we went to the site and like, we can make a better website like this in 6 weeks. So I remember telling my buddy, I was Tom Chorsky, who I grew up with. I said, I was playing golf with him at Edina Country Club that summer. And I go, this winter, I'm starting a new website. And he goes, there's no way it'll be successful. He was my first guy on the doubt list. And I was like, all right.
Good call, Tom.
What's that?
Good call, Tom.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't. That was it. I mean, there was a lot of them. And I'll tell you guys, you'll love this story. And I'll fast forward to that story at the end. So that's when I knew it was going to be kind of successful. It was like the first week we put out rankings, and there was the forums. You guys remember the forum, right? Where you have your fake name, and you go in there and you type this team.
Message board.
Message board. Yeah, message board. And, so then I posted something, and then I put a link to ours, and that was that was my Twitter at the time. That was where I could get people to get readers to come. So it was very successful. I remember the first year we had like 1 million page views in the first 2 months. I was like, this is pretty cool. And then I was playing hockey. Is it Todd Park in Glen and Twig? They were like a Sunday skate.
Yeah.
Arden Park on Saturdays, Todd Park on Friday afternoons. I would go there every once in a while and skate. And I remember being in the warming house that year, and there was like 10 guys. I didn't probably do like 5 or 6 of them look familiar, but they were talking about the rankings on my website. And my buddy Simon Schwab's like, are you going to tell them? Are you going to tell them? I'm like, tell them what? I'm like, that you're the guy that's your website? I'm like, I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. And he goes, I'll tell him. He goes, do you guys know who the guy is that does that? He goes, it's him right there. He goes, no way. And they're like, it's so cool. And they got a lot of positive feedback. And I became friends with one of them. And later on that year, that guy who I met in the warming house said, you should start a tournament. And I didn't know anything about sanctioned, unsanctioned. I didn't know any of the rules. I just was doing this website that was getting a lot of hits. I did it every night after work. I would go down and start typing after my kids went to bed. And the funny part about it was I didn't know the rules. So then we had this unsanctioned tournament because you couldn't do a sanction this late in the season. And the teams had already met their game limits. And anyway, long story short, the Minnesota Hockey at the time wouldn't allow it to be sanctioned, and they wouldn't allow us to do the tournament. So the teams had to wear like kind of practice jerseys or something like that. And I remember it was over at Braemar. We did it at Braemar. And I remember I made like $1,500. I remember people bringing cash, literally like $100 bills. And then I took the $100 bills and paid for it. And I remember at the end, I had like $1,500. And within 2 weeks of that, I had 3 associations, Edina, Brainerd, and Moorhead all called and says, hey, do you want to do one of those tournaments like that for us? And that's when I knew kind of hit it. Then I went,
Yeah, something.
and your predecessor at Minnesota Hockey, Mike Snee, he and I had several conversations about the site, and he liked it. We had a really good working relationship, and I remember he said, you should come to this meeting, this Minnesota Hockey meeting, and just listen in, and it'll give you something to report on. So I went to the spring meeting over at the Marriott, which you guys have been to a bunch, and I'll never forget, they brought up the topic of my tournament, and I could the cackling that day about the website and the tournament and all the things that went wrong and how dumb it sounded to them was the biggest. Do you think Tom Shorsky was fuel? That was the fuel I needed. And I never forget, Mike's got that bald head. He turned around and he looked at me and he goes, like, you got it. This is going to be it.
Right.
They think you're a joke,
Yeah.
And that was like, yeah. And I had just made my first $1,500, and it was like the warming house and all the other stuff. And I'd never been on camera. So I kind of was, mom, literally dude in the basement. I was literally in my own basement, because that's where the computer was, typing away every night. And that's how it started. And then I did I did my first 10 minutes with Tony Scott in my office. Turned the camera on, just like you guys. Watching you guys do this is like the good old days of YHH. You just hitting the camera, Riverside, kind of figuring it out. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm like happy here watching you guys do this, and I was just like
trying to make you happy. So it's good. Yeah,
big time.
This is what this is all about.
So I did one, and then sure as shit, I went to the rink that next week. It was some Caribou Cup or something like that in the summer, and people like honey to a bee, just, hey, we are. Hey, we want to play in your squirt tournament next year. And then we had our first unsanctioned squirtacular, where we went with you'll love this because you know all the characters, where we got them jerseys. We paid for their jerseys. It was unsanctioned. It was at the end of the year. Maple Grove played Rosemount and was kooking in, and all these guys were playing, and it was all unsanctioned. It was all totally above board. But the day, I'll never forget, it was 2013. Bobby Brink played in it. I mean, like, all these people were in the tournament, 16 A's and 16 B's. And it was just chaos for us because we had never done this before. And John Perry showed up
From
Minnesota Hockey
Yeah.
to go, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Because we weren't hiding it. It was like, it was all out there, but like Eden Prairie had the red jerseys and Maple Grove had the maroon. And, we had a bonus set of whites in case someone had to wear the jerseys or whatever. And it was all very well organized. It was all well done. And literally from that day forward, John and I forged a really good relationship. He didn't like it one bit, but he's like, can we do this sanction next year? Can we help you along in the process to get this sanctioned? So you liked it. I'm like, yeah, it's great. This is what we want, but you got to do it this way. I'm like, okay, I want to work with you.
Right.
And that kind of goes, and you kind of came in right around then too. And it kind of, the rest is history. Sanctioned tournaments is how we made money, and how we then could pay people to go out and cover boys games and youth tournaments. We could be at the Moose Goheen one day, and we could be at our own tournament the next day, but it was usually tournaments or youth stuff. And then some guy said, you should go cover a high school game. I'm like, why would they want us to cover them? We're youth hockey. And what I realized is we had covered all these kids for 2 years. And now I knew who they were. I knew Riley Tufte was. I knew Casey Middlestat was. I knew Scott Perunovich was. And then it just kind of went from 9 through 13 for a couple of years to high school. And then, of course, someone said, you should run a high school tournament. And it just kind of happened that way.
Okay.
Streaming was really what
You're kind of like Michael Jordan. You needed that little slight to motivate you to become the best at what you do. Okay.
I don't know about Michael. That's a bad analogy, but yeah. But like, it is. If you need a little bit of fuel, right?
Yeah.
And
a cower, or you.
No, I kind of like it. The more the challenge, the bigger the challenge, I kind of like. Okay, now I got to put together a plan to figure out that challenge.
Okay,
so.
Great. All right, that was one. We got 8
Sorry, that's a long one.
No, that's not one. I expected that one.
There's a couple little anecdotes
I know your
there.
Story, and it's time you can tell in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Your favorite aspect of youth or high school hockey? Haven't been around it for so long now.
I say this all the time. I call it the dumb people. That's what I call it. When the dumb people show up, it's good, right? So what I mean by that is it's the, you know what I mean by the dumb people, the shoot, the shoot, the people that don't, you go to Tuesday night game at Braemar, there's probably 500 people there for your average game. But once you get to the section playoffs, you get to a really big game between two rivals, and then all the people come out of the woodwork to those games. I call them the dumb people. You need the dumb people for those games to be great.
Maybe casual fans would be the more politically correct.
Yeah, but I'm sitting on the glass, right? I'm
idiots coming in.
I'll never forget. It was a Holy Family Tonka, one of those Holy Family Tonka girls games, and it's the section final. It's heated, right? Like those teams don't like each other, and some of the dumb things the fans were saying, I was like, they're so dumb. I'm like, wait, stop, hit the brakes. This is great.
Yeah.
There's so much energy in this building.
Right.
When that happens, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like when the casual, as you would say, fans come out, then it's awesome.
Right.
That's to me the aspect. Or it could be a youth tournament, right? It could be the championship game for a youth game, and now grandma and grandpa are coming, aunts and uncles come, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Those are awesome.
Yeah.
Like when we had the Prior Lake thing, like the rink's packed with just strangers, not your standard 500 fans who go to a high school game.
Right. No, that is awesome. And just when you feel the atmosphere
and I don't really think they're dumb.
Quite like that.
I don't really think they're dumb, but you get the idea. It's like,
you might be creating new hockey fans by
you are.
being in that experience.
You definitely are.
Okay. A new addition to the emergency night. We didn't plan for this, and you didn't even look at the question.
I looked at it. I glossed over them. I think it's better to do it without much. I remember one of the questions, and that's it.
So, your favorite rink in Minnesota?
Okay, mine's chalk though. It's such a very chalk response. It's Hibbing Memorial Building, and I'll tell you why. Obviously it's a magic. It's a temple, right? It's beautiful. Some might say heritage, but heritage is too new. It's beautiful, and I love everything about heritage. But I think I played a high school hockey game in that building, number one. But we ran a tournament there called the Founders Cup for 2 years with kind of some associations on the Iron Range. And what was interesting about it was when kids would walk through, they get these like galleyways, you walk into there, and the kid would walk in there for the first time, and then they look up and they look around like someone who's never been to New York City to the tall buildings. They look around. That's how you know it's a great building.
Yeah.
You walk into the Hip, you wouldn't do that. You'd walk into the Hip and you'd see all the names from Eveleth, and that's cool. But you walk into the Hip and it's like, it's okay. But you walk into the Memorial Building, it's like, this is something else. I was just there doing some interviews last year's state tournament, and the ice was already out, but they had the Kevin McHale court in. I'm like, can you turn the lights on for me? Like, why? I'm like, because this is almost cooler with the ice out with the Kevin McHale court on there.
Yeah.
To me, I thought that was pretty cool. So it's just there's so much history there. Now they got Scotty Perunovich's name up there, and it's awesome.
It's such an old building, but feels so clean. Like
clean.
So you walk in there and it's immaculate.
And they've redone. I don't know if you've been there since they redone all their locker rooms.
A few years.
They've redone all the locker rooms. Locker rooms used to be down in the basement. Now they're on the main level.
Okay.
Their weight room is now at the old locker rooms.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
It's really, really well done. The one thing they do invest in hockey, if you go from like Mars Arena or the Heritage all the way across to East Grand Forks, there's so many good rinks between that 4-hour span. Every town's got a great barn.
Yeah. That's true. That's the spot.
So many.
That's the spot to go. You have to make a pilgrimage if you're living down here and haven't been up there for.
Yeah, it's great. Like, there's a line you could draw, and obviously War Roseau's on its own plane, but there's so many good barns there. Even on that other plane, when you think about it, but that's isn't great. But I Falls is really nice, and you go all around Highway 11 across the top of the state. There's some great barns too.
Absolutely. All right, let's switch to golf a little bit.
All right.
This is a golf show.
No problem.
What's your golf story?
I played mini golf as a kid, coming back to Tom Chorsky again. But I remember I loved mini golf. We'd go all the time. I putted left-handed. You notice that I putt left-handed, hit right-handed. There weren't golf clubs that were left-handed, so we just kind of had to take what Bob Chorsky had. And Tom and I slugged around over at Theodorworth par 3 course with our left-handed club. But he had a two-way putter, so I just putted that way. And I just remember as a kid, I love sports, but I always remember watching Jack Nicklaus and Tom Watson and the famed U.S. Open at Pebble Beach when Watson shipped in, like that kind of stuff. Like to this day, I just thought it was a really cool sport. I remember every time my dad or mom would drive by a golf course. So I live really close to Minnetonka. I would always be looking. Like this is
something about driving by.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
It's totally. I mean, I'm not behind the wheel either. So I was always looking at the flag and the bunkers and the grass.
Maybe you
And
get someone putting right there
see
and
it.
see if that person makes it as you're driving by.
I was fascinated. So once I got to do it once, I was literally hooked after the first 9 holes that I played. I went home. I'm like, I gotta get my own club. This Chorsky thing isn't working. I can't go unless I'm with him. We probably had played 2 or 3 rounds, but after that, I was like, I needed my own clubs. And then we went to Bullseye. You remember Bullseye over there on Miracle Mile?
Yeah.
They had a store, their golf store. They're all used crappy stuff. It was second swing of our generation.
Sure.
And they didn't have any left-handed clubs there. And I'd already shot it right. So we just got a cheap pair of set of Northwesterns for $49. And the rest, I played my whole life. I mean, played high school golf. I was decent, but not, state champion or anything. I think I might have been in the top 10 my junior year, but not
In the state?
state. Yeah.
Oh,
I was okay.
all right.
You can check the records on that too, by the way.
Yeah.
You can verify that.
I'll
I
look
got
that
some.
one up.
You come around so I can show you the medals. I got this conference champion medals, that stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Let's go into your favorite course or a course that means the most to you in Minnesota or Wisconsin.
that's such a hard question. That was the one that I really got stuck on when I was looking them up. I was like, that's really hard. I grew up at Theodorworth. That was the course that I grew up. That was my municipal course, but I always played and worked at Minnetonka. So I worked at Worth and Minnetonka. That was those 2 courses closest to me. So I have to say one or both of those. Minnetonka, old Minnetonka, Twigs and I were talking about it before they knocked all the trees down. It was like a hallway. There was so much shade. It was just a different golf course than it is today. But I would say the coup de grace golf course for me is Minnetonka. I would say, I belong at Minnesota Valley and a national member at Northland, but I think those are easy ones. But I think that's the course. Minnetonka is the standard for me. I don't know why.
Well, if you have an attachment to it, I feel like that's got to be a part of it.
It's just I just have so many memories, good memories at both of those courses. I got good memories at Northland and the Valley, but something about those, you go back and like, that's the course.
Right.
I mean, that's the standard for me.
Right. Okay. I love it. Give me your dream foursome.
Oh, dead or alive?
Could be both.
I want to go alive,
You
right?
go alive,
Let's
sure.
go alive. Like, 'cause, like Babe Ruth, that's not realistic. Now, does it have to be realistic? I think that's a better one.
What's realistic?
Could I put that together?
No, it doesn't
gotta
have to be
be-
realistic. I mean, if you want to say Michael Jordan, that's not realistic in my mind, but
Yeah, it's not realistic to me. I would want to like, okay.
yeah.
Whoa. That's such a good one. For whatever reason, when you said that question, Wayne Gretzky came to mind. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I have no idea why that just popped into my
I
head.
feel like we'll get that one a lot.
Why? I have no idea, because he actually seems like a pretty good guy when he's on TNT. And like, he seems approachable. I know a lot of people have met him. I don't think I could make that happen though. So I'm going to go with what I can make happen.
All right.
Okay. So I'm going to go with, for sure, Brock Nelson would be one.
Right.
He's think about all of the lineage he has, having his wife is a Miss Hockey winner. I don't know. He just seems like an interesting guy. He was picked to be on an Olympic team when he probably didn't have all the same skill sets as a Jason Robertson he has all of the intangibles. I don't know. He just seems like I've met him once. I could get him into a foursome.
Okay.
So that would be one.
That's a realistic one.
It's got to be realistic for me.
Okay. Yeah.
It's got to be realistic.
Great. You got to do what you want.
It's got to be realistic, right? So I would go with him. I would go with hmm. Let's see, Russ. I'll go with Mike Hastings. That's realistic.
Okay.
Here's a guy who's done everything, right? He's coached in the USHL. He's built a USHL franchise. He built a program. He's about to build another program at Wisconsin. It's realistic that I could get him into a foursome.
Okay.
He would be one. He's an interesting guy, very approachable guy. So that would be one. God, I'm doing this all off the top of my head here. It's got to be real. I think it's got better if it's realistic, right? Let's see. Since I'm hockey, I got to stick with hockey, right?
You don't have to.
I think it's got to be hockey.
Yeah, anyone in the world.
No, it's got to be realistic though.
All right. Then you can't go outside the hockey world.
Yeah. I'll go Brock Faber. Brock Faber, and I could realistically make that happen.
Yeah.
So I have 2 gold medalists,
2 Brocks.
2 Brocks. Yeah. That'd be it.
Okay.
That'd be my dream for it. And I could make that happen. I think it would be hard because they don't live in the same city.
Yeah.
Hasty lives in Mankato a lot. Still has a house there, so I think I could make it happen.
Yeah. There'd be some good questions you could ask those two just about their past year.
Just the past year?
Yeah, right? Yeah. I mean, that'd be
Unbelievable.
a fun round. You need more than 18 holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. That would be mine. That's mine.
All right. Best sporting event that you've been to, you've seen live, regardless of level, and it doesn't have to be hockey.
I wasn't there on Sunday in 1999 Ryder Cup, but I was at Brookline in 99.
Okay.
But I was not there on Sunday. Does that count?
Yeah.
I was also okay. Here's another one. I was there when the Red Sox. I was not there when they won the World Series, but I was there for games 1 and games 2 in 2004. The first time they won on Saturday and Sunday. I was at games 1 and 2, but they swept St. Louis, and I had tickets for games 6 and 7.
Were you a Red Sox fan?
No, my company that I owned at the time had Boston Scientific was a client.
Okay.
So I was in Boston pretty much year round. Red Sox, Bruins, we had tickets for everything.
But it is a thing I learned about you that surprised me is you're almost more of a baseball guy than you are
I'm a sports guy.
Yeah.
I love all sports.
Yeah.
You name it, like tennis, Twig's state champion here.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by tennis. Oh, yeah. I just like sports. I just like, if it's sports, and it just, like I said, go back to that meeting with my brother. I'm like, people in Minnesota State only play baseball in a couple months, and then they get right back to hockey.
Yeah.
They really do. I mean, that's the reality. It was the reality for me. And like, my son was good at baseball, and I was coaching baseball, but it was like, man, this thing's going to be over in July, and we're going to be right back on the ice doing some kind of clinic or AAA or something. We were going to be playing when he was that age. And I'm like, no, it wouldn't have a shelf life to it.
Right.
You know?
All right. Closing in, we got 2 more for you. Give me your key to success or happiness or your motto.
Yeah, this is the only question I remember.
Yeah.
So this one's really easy. Super easy for me. My dad said this to me probably when I was like 17. It was before I went to college. And I remember being really stupid at the time. And then he said it to me he said it to me twice. It's not like he said it over and over and over.
Right.
He just said, do what you love, money will follow.
Okay.
And I remember that was like, okay, that's what I want to do. And so I would get into situations where in college, or I would get into situations after college in my career and be like, yeah, you could take this job. I remember I got a opportunity to interview at Merck, Sharp and Dome, like a big pharmaceutical company. And I went there and I sat down with these people. I'm like, this is great. I'm going to make more money than I'm making now. I'm going to have this opportunity. I'm going to get a company car, all these things that sounded or materialistically sounded awesome. Yeah. And then I realized I was just going to go visit doctor's offices and hand off pizzas and sell some crap that I didn't really believe in. And I remember that pumping the brakes on the excitement. And I'm like, that's not really what I love. I want to really own my own ad agency and keep on the marketing side of it and less on the sales rep. It would have been a way easier trek in life going down that road, but I didn't really want that. I wanted to kind of keep on my own and start my own agency. And literally like about 18 months later, I did that.
Okay. So, and I think you would be the example of someone who's doing what they love and money followed. So, all right, last question to wrap up our emergency 9. Your gravestone, what do you want written on there?
Oh, dude, that's so hard. That's a hard question. I wish I would have I wish I'd thought about this more. That's a really good question. It's funny because now I'm 58, so you're like you think more about your legacy and what you know what I mean. Like I do more than I did when I was 48, and way more than I was 38. Right? You think about, okay, what is it? What will be your stamp, right? And oddly enough, I thought about this about 6 weeks ago. This kind of question appeared in my brain somehow. And my goal, and I've told my kids this too, I said, my goal is the last thing I want is to be known as the guy who started youth hockey up. That's not what I want, believe it or not. I want to be known as somebody who treated people great, made connections with people. Like we were playing golf today, and Twig's really good at it too. We're like, hey, what are your kids doing? What like you're learning about other people. Right. I would rather be known more for that than I organize some hockey tournaments and put on some podcasts. Right. That would be way more important to me than being the founder of this.
Well, if I could say one thing, I think on your gravestone, the word energy will be on there because you have amazing energy. And like you said, I've known you for over 10 years, maybe 15. Yeah. And your energy seems to get higher as you go along.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a good way.
Yeah, I know.
You've got great energy. I've always enjoyed interacting with you, no matter if it was through work or golf or whatever. So when it came to our first guest, you were an easy choice. So
I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us.
You guys are fun to golf with. I mean, you and I golf a couple times a year the last 3-4 years, and it's always, you're an easy guy to golf with. And those aren't easy to find sometimes. You know what I mean? Like that was an easy round of golf today. Like we're making good shots, some good, some bad. Twigs makes a twig today, hits one off the twig and makes a par. That's on my bucket list. I can check that off today. You know what I mean? That was cool. Like it was literally, he said twig, just hit a twig, and then he made a par too. Yeah. For me, that's more important than I shot 78 or 93 or whatever. The score is almost becoming more and more irrelevant the older I get.
Right. I think the older you get, the more it's just like we're out here. Like how good is this?
We're playing.
As John Harbaugh would say, or Jim Harbaugh would say, who's got it better than us?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, Tony, thank you for joining us on the course today and here in the Loons Nest for the first Emergency 9. Yeah, exactly. Again, this will be a where were you moment when.
Oh my God, it's something else.
No, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Tony.
All right, so that ends our review of the Meadows at Mystic Lake. Again, super fun day. Great playing with Tony. Great having him on as a guest. I love everything that he had to say. He's always got something to say. But Tony is someone who built this empire. I mean, you could call it that. He's built something out of nothing, and he's done really well at it. But he is a very just down to earth, friendly, energetic person, so I think he was the perfect first guest for us.
Yeah, he was great. I never played with him. You've played a few times. I like playing with people that, whether they get a birdie or a triple bogey, they're kind of the same, right? That we're too old to get too upset about this right now. So he plays pretty fast, fun to play with, ask questions about you, wants to get to know you, and people. So I like that. So he's not just into himself. So I thought, a great golf partner, and it was fun hearing his story on the Emergency 9 as well. So, and he's kind of a, I don't know, we're sort of partners in crime, and that he loves to talk about, well, in the 86, what do you think about this 86 team? Well, I don't think that when Columbia Heights beat Edina in the 1983 state tournament, that's not an upset. So we kind of went back and forth on a few
And that was on
things.
the first tee that we already got that debate. So yeah, I thought we might come to blows for a little while there.
Yeah,
No,
but
things smoothed out.
yes, things smoothed out. But he so he loves talking sports, and it was a fun round for sure.
Yeah.
And JP speaks for herself. JP's JP.
Yeah. And on that note, thank you to Yellowbird.
Thanks again, Yellowbird. Stop in to their St. Paul or Northeast shop. Ask for JP when you're there. If he's there, he will be happy to serve you up and to talk golf.
If he's not there, he's playing golf with Twig. So
Yeah.
yes, thank you to Yellowbird. Again, reminder to follow us. Come to our website, golfloons.com. Check out the blog. Check out our Instagram and X accounts at golfloonsmn. And we're coming to you again from another course. We'll stick in the Metro for our second round. Another great guest lined up. So we look forward to seeing everyone back for our third episode.
Okay. Thanks, Glenn.
Thank you.
Yeah. Go Loons.
Cheers.
Yep. Cheers.
Where'd we play?